All the Santas have their different routines. Some like the children's names, so while you're escorting the child to the house, you ask, "What was your name again? It's right on the tip of my mind where I can't get at it." The child will say their name and you'll say, "That's right, Van." Then you'll escort them the rest of the way and say, "Just a moment, let me check to see if he's ready." You poke your head in and whisper, "Van." Then half the time, Santa will say, "Stan! It's good to see you." It's hard to keep the names straight. And some of the names are names I have never heard of in my life. Venetia, Fontage, Great. No, really, Great. A child named Great. I'm Great! That is a name that is bound to prove challenging once it gets old enough to start sleeping around. Santa Howard likes to have the children's names. When they come in, he sits them on his lap, and then he asks if they've been good and what they want for Christmas, and then he asks them what they're going to leave him to eat for Christmas Eve. And most of the children will say cookies and milk, and so he'll ask what kind of cookie, and they'll say chocolate chip or whatever, and then he demands that the photo elves say, "Chocolate chip? Why, that's Santa's favorite kind of cookie!" I don't mind saying it, but I must have said it 60 times today. Then later on in the evening, Santa Howard got an Asian child who was not familiar with the idea of leaving cookies and milk for Santa. When he asked her what she was going to leave him for Christmas Eve, she got a puzzled look on her face. He said, "Something round to eat?" And she said, "A potato?" But I hate working with Santa Doug, who tends to spit as he talks. It just gushes out of his mouth every time he opens it. This evening, a little girl wiped her face after going, "Santa, why are you spitting on me?" Santa Doug replied that it was not spit, but that it was frost from his beard. Fine, that might work for a 6-year-old, but what does he tell his friends? But the worst is Santa Santa. I don't know his real name. No one does. During the day, there's usually a slow period where you sit around the house and you can talk with your Santa. Most of them are nice guys. You sit around and you laugh, but Santa Santa tends to take himself just a little too seriously. I asked him where he lived, in the Bronx, Brooklyn, or Manhattan, and he said, "Why, I live in the North Pole with Mrs. Claus." I asked what he did the rest of the year, and he said, "Why, I make toys for all the little children." I was like, "Yeah, but what do you do for money?" "Why, Santa doesn't need money," he said. Santa Santa will wave and jingle his bell sash when no one is there. The other day, he actually recited "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" when it was just the two of us in the house. No children, just us. What do you do with a nut like that? Oh, Santa Santa says, "Oh, little elf, bring Santa a throat lozenge." I reminded him that I have a name, Crumpet. And then I brought him a throat lozenge. Oh, Santa Santa has an elaborate little routine for the children. When they come in, he sits them on his lap and he asks if they've been good and what they want for Christmas, and then he asks them what their favorite Christmas carol is. Most of the children will say Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or whatever, and so then he'll ask if they'll sing it for him. Most of them are shy. They don't want to sing out loud. So then he says, "Oh, little elf, come help Brenda here sing that favorite Christmas carol of hers." So I do it. I have to stand there and sing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which I hate. Then, later on, a little girl told Santa Santa that she didn't know what her favorite Christmas carol was. So he suggested "Away in the Manger." The little girl agreed, but she didn't want to sing out loud because she didn't know the lyrics. So he said, "Oh, little elf, come sing Away in the Manger for us." I didn't think it was fair that I should have to solo, so I said that I didn't know the words. And he said, "Oh, but of course you know the words. Now sing for us." So, I sang it the way Billie Holiday might have sung it had she put out a Christmas album. Santa did not allow me to finish. All the Santas in Santaland, 2 are black, and both are so light-complected that with the beard and the makeup, you'd be hard-pressed to tell their race. The other day, a black woman became somewhat upset with me when, having asked for a Santa of color, I sent her to Santa Jerome. "He's not black," she said. I assured her, no, indeed, Santa Jerome was black. "Well, he's not black enough." Santa Jerome is a difficult Santa. He's moody and unpredictable. Most of the time, he sits staring off into space, calculating his paycheck up for the hours he's worked so far. He seems to have his own bizarre agenda. When the children come in, he lectures them and stares at his boots. He suggests they take careers in entomology. Santa Jerome believes that the defensive spray of the stink bug holds medicinal powers that will one day cure mankind of all communicable diseases. He asks the children, "Do you know about holistic medicine?" The photo elf will take a picture of a yawning child. The other day, I was a pointer elf for a few minutes when a woman came up to me and said, "We would like a traditional Santa. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about." So I sent her to Santa Jerome. Then, later, a man pulled Snowball aside and said, "Last year we were stuck with a chocolate Santa. See to it that doesn't happen again." Today I was a pointer elf for all of about 15 minutes before a woman came up to me and mouthed, "White? Like us?" I've had requests for both sides. Black Santa, white Santa. A pointer elf is instructed to just simply shrug his shoulders, feign ignorance, and say, "There is only one Santa!" Today I was an exit elf. I stood near the exit and in a very loud voice I said, "This way out of Santaland!" A woman was purchasing her photos and fumbling through her purse. Her son lay before her on the ground, kicking and heaving and having a little tantrum. The woman said, "Riley, if you don't start behaving right now, Santa's going to change his mind and not bring you any of those presents you asked for." The child said, "He is still going to bring me presents, liar! He told me so!" The woman pulled my arm aside and said, "Look, you there, elf, tell Riley that if he doesn't start behaving immediately, that Santa's not going to bring him any of those presents, but instead bring him coal for Christmas." I said, "Santa no longer traffics in coal." What he does, if you're bad, is that he comes to your house and he takes things. I told Riley that if he didn't start behaving immediately, that Santa was going to come and take his television and all his electrical appliances and leave him in the dark. Everything, Riley. He's even going to take your refrigerator. Your food is going to spoil and smell bad. It's going to be so cold and dark where you are, Riley. Man, are you ever going to suffer. You're going to wish you never heard the name Santa. The woman got a worried look on her face and said, "Oh, right, thank you, that's enough." But I continued with Riley, saying, "He's going to take your furniture and your car and all your towels and blankets and leave you with nothing." The woman said, "No, really, thank you. All right, that's enough." Go. Did you ever realize that Santa is an anagram for Satan? I envision a Satan land. Where the souls of the departed are escorted through steaming pools of human blood and feces before they stand at the gates of hell. A horrible imp in a singed velvet smock escorts them the rest of the way in to see Satan! Once I got this image in my mind, I couldn't get it out. Listening to the customers, I would begin to substitute the word Santa with the word Satan. What do you think, Billy? Do you think that Macy's has the real Satan? Sweetheart, don't forget to think Satan! Maybe I didn't do that last Christmas. I love Satan! Who doesn't? All of us love Satan! Father Christmas or the devil. So close, but yet so far. As Christmas gets closer, we get busier and busier. There's no longer any downtime, and I think they ought to outfit all us elves with little cans of mace. It's all Santa, Santa, Santa. No one has respect for even the commonest of elves. Oh, unless it's that dwarf, and oh, they go wild. Everybody wants to take their picture with that goddamn dwarf. Oh, sure, she looks the part. But if you ask me, she's just cruising on her looks. I got a haircut today, and a few people complimented me, but it didn't even register, because I spent all day long lying to people, telling them, "You look so pretty. Santa can't wait for his visit with you. You're all he talks about. Why, it's just not Christmas without you. Why, you're Santa's favorite person in the entire tri-state area." Sometimes I really lay it on thick, and I say to the children, "Aren't you the Princess of Rungovia?" Santa said that a beautiful princess would be coming and visiting him. He said that she would be wearing a red dress and that she was very pretty but not stuck up or two-faced. That's you, isn't it? I lay it on and the parents leave mouthing to me, "Good job and thank you." To one little girl, I actually said, "You're a model, aren't you?" The little girl was maybe 6 years old, and she said, "Yes, I'm a model, but I also act. I just got a second callback for a Fisher-Price commercial." The child's mother said, "You may recognize Caitlin from my first Sony campaign. She's on the box." I said, "Yes, of course." All I do is lie all day long to people. And it has made me immune to compliments. I think I'm starting to lose it.
Attention holiday shoppers. Remember that there are only 9 more days before Christmas.